How much time are you spending in your HR day responding to emails, getting things done at the last minute, and putting out fires? In the middle of all that feels like busy work, what time do you have to be strategic? This is the problem that all HR professionals face, and it can be a career breaker. And I know it so well because if I'm not careful, I'll fall into that trap too. So today we're talking about all the things you want to make sure you're considering to make sure you are handling the day-to-day responsibilities, but also being proactive with what you're thinking and you're doing as well. Hey, if you're new here, I am Brittany, HR career coach, certified executive coach who is on a mission to help 1,000 HR professionals to build thriving careers. That looks like being able to take your career from overwhelming to organized so you can have more impact, you can have more income, and you can have more influence. If that sounds like you, make sure we are connected moving forward. Hit that like button on this video, subscribe to this channel, and turn on notifications so you can catch all the future videos just like this. Working in any capacity as an HR professional can be a ball of chaos, especially when you're working by yourself in HR, but even if you're on a team, it can be very, very overwhelming. There are some things you do that rely only on you. There are other things that have to wait on other people. There are other things that have to involve employees and what they do or what they don't do. It's this never-ending cycle of motion and things happening back to back to back. And so if we're not careful, we can get stuck in this rat race of continuing to do these daily operation things. And all of these things are necessary, but we should not be spending 100% of our time in these areas. On this channel, I talk primarily to HR department leaders, HR departments of one, and any HR professional who is serious about going to that very next level in your career. I'm of the opinion, and I am convinced, you can't convince me otherwise, that if you are a recruiter, or if you are a compensation specialist, or if you are an employee relations specialist, it's going to be really difficult for you to get to the point where you're leading an entire team because you're a bit pigeonholed into one HR discipline. So that's why this channel is about thriving as an HR department of one. It's not about a selfish mindset. It's not about an ego mindset. It's about being able to tackle all of the things that come at you if you were leading that department by yourself. Life as an HR professional is inherently busy. Like I said before, we've got a lot of things coming at us. So tell me down in the comments, what are some of the things that take up all of your time? Are you primarily answering emails? Are you responding to employee requests? Are you dealing with leadership and manager issues? Share in the comments any specific challenge that you face with balancing all that comes at you. When you're a department leader, that business is taken up a notch. So you've got benefits questions, you've got payroll questions, you've got employer relations questions, you've got hiring questions, you've got separation questions, and it's a never-ending cycle. In the middle of all of that, for everything that you do that balances the day-to-day responsibilities, there's also a counterpart to that that's going to help you be more strategic. For example, when you're on that hamster wheel, continuing to hire and hire and hire and fire and fire and hire and hire, the strategic part of that could be being more aware and more intentional about your employee retention strategy, about ways you are involving and enhancing the employee experience overall. If you find yourself in a lot of employer relations issues where you're dealing with a lot of workplace conflict and managers not being involved enough or employees not feeling that they're equipped to do their jobs, to be more strategic in that area, you can find ways to build up your leadership team, to provide more career advancement opportunities, to put programs in place where there are more opportunities for people to get to know each other and get a chance to community build. If you find yourself spending a lot of time in the payroll area, where every cycle is the same thing, you can be more strategic. What are some ways you can enhance that program? What are some ways you can work smarter and not harder, whether it's using new technologies, whether it's finding a new vendor, whether it's finding ways to help support you to get your things done as well. As you think about how you're spending majority of your time, try to also be super mindful of how can you be more proactive in this area. How can you mitigate some of the things that are happening so that to make your jobs more easy? Thinking and doing things more strategically is going to help you to build your credibility. And when I talk to HR professionals at various stages of your career, credibility comes up in almost every conversation. I believe it's because most people think that they don't have credibility or they want more credibility, but then that's the key to help them to get things done. Something that surprises HR professionals from time to time is that credibility does not come with years of service. Credibility does not come with a new job title. Credibility does not come just because you are now leading other people. Credibility comes over time. There's a few ways that I've discovered that has worked for me to build my credibility. One thing that helped me to build my credibility and think and do things more strategically is being able to master my job. I get it. We all have our sweet spot when it comes to HR. You might be a superstar when it comes to recruiting, or you might be a superstar when it comes to handling benefits and things like that. But you've got to be well versed in understanding all the nuances of all HR competencies. If you're only known for putting out fires and you're only known for just answering emails and responding to requests, you're not going to be viewed as a credible, comprehensive HR leader that you want to be. On this channel, I primarily talk about mastering your role and building your career, building a thriving career, and that comes with the hard work of doing things that's going to be difficult. And it's okay for things to be difficult as long as you have a plan to attack those things. Another way to build your credibility and to be more strategic is to be an effective communicator. It's important to be able to think clearly and articulate your ideas completely to make sure that people can understand where you're coming from. There will be times where if your organization is growing, there are growing pains, or there might be just a difference of personalities, difference of perspectives, but your ability to communicate and see things through, to problem solve, to help people to resolve their issues, even if you're not involved in it, is going to be effective in helping you to be not only more credible as a leader, as an HR leader, but also to be more strategic. Think about it. If you are known as a person who can get things done, you're known as a person who can help people solve their problems, that's going to help you to strategically position yourself to build your career. Build a reputation where your input, your insights are valued and respected. That's going to be so helpful for your career growth. Almost every month I do an HR career climb training for my email community where I'm talking about different ways for you to build your career on purpose. I'm all about growing with purpose and growing on purpose. And I talk about my 4 E's of HR career success. One of those E's is excellence. And when it comes to working in excellence, you don't want to just do your job and just skate by, coast by, do the bare minimum. If you're serious about growing your career, you need to be excellent. And being excellent comes with being consistent. It comes with being reliable, with being dependable. We all know those people on our jobs, and we all know those people probably in our personal lives as well, who, if they tell you that they're going to do something, they're likely not going to do it. Or you really can't trust them. You really can't set your watch by them because they're not very reliable. We don't want to be those people. When you set expectations, when you make promises, you deliver on them. And when you do that consistently, that's going to help you to build your credibility as well. This is all strategy. This is all helping you to be more strategic with your thinking, you're doing to help you to grow your career. As you build a track record of being dependable and reliable, that's going to help you to position yourself again, like I keep saying, to be that next person to either have a promotion or a new role that's going to come your way. A great way to get out of the day-to-day grind of just doing things for your daily department to run effectively and to be more strategic and to be more encompassing of the entire organization is to be more intentional with your relationship building. Cultivate relationships with all levels of management, whether it's managers, whether it's senior leaders, whether it's frontline employees. Building a relationship throughout the organization is going to help you so much because it's going to help you to make space and make time for getting out of that day-to-day grind, and also help you to be more aware of what's happening so you can understand what's going to align best to the organizations and the people within that organization. Speaking of aligning to things within the organization, the best way to be credible and to get out of that day-to-day grind is to be intentionally strategic. Find out what matters to the organization. What is your senior leaders thinking about? What is keeping them up at night? What's helping your organization to keep running and make money and have retained clients or customers or whatever you call them? But what can you do in your HR team to align with the business objectives to help the business move forward? As we grow our HR careers, we have to get out of that day-to-day grind. And again, those day-to-day grind tasks are necessary. We have to get those things done. And that's why you have to be excellent in what you do, where you can learn to work smarter and not necessarily harder. You've got to make space to think wider than your current plate, so to speak. You've got to find ways to think, how can what I'm doing in my day-to-day, how can I impact the organization in a different way? Beyond, make sure everyone has their benefits on time. Beyond making sure everyone gets paid. Beyond making sure we have the right positions. What can I do? How can I help the overall employee culture? How can I help the overall employee experience? All of those things to wrap into the bottom line of the business. Have you already started the journey of being more strategic with your thinking, with your doing? Has that helped your credibility in the process? Share that in the comments below. As you grow your HR career, if you know what you're trying to reach, if you know where you're trying to go, it's important to have a plan to make sure you get those things accomplished. All of this sounds interesting, but you still don't quite know how to get over that finish line. I suggest you enroll in my next cohort of the SHRM HR Department of One Specialty Credential. So it's a relatively new program over the last few years, but it's a program outside of the SHRM CP and the SHRM SCP credential, but it's a specialty credential for HR Departments of One or HR leaders or anyone who leads an HR department. You may or may not even have the title of HR. You could lead the HR department and be the office manager or the front house manager or whatever. But if you are the HR person of your organization, this is for you. What I love about the program is that it covers all of the things you should know as a person who's leading an HR department. So even if you're a part of an HR team, this could really help you to expand your knowledge outside of the single HR competency that you're typically working within, to help you to understand, again, what matters to an HR leader. What are some things we want to work through? How are we actually working? The program follows a framework where you're going to assess. You're going to see, okay, so how is your organization right now? You're going to rate your organization on multiple areas. You're going to learn new things. And then at the end of every single module, you're going to build out a plan. So what are you going to take back to your team? What are you going to take back to do differently? What are you doing well? What can you enhance? The HR Department of One Specialty Credential is exactly what I wanted when I was starting out in my HR career, when I landed as an HR Department of One, 2 years into my HR journey. And I was looking for something like this and it didn't exist. And so I'm so honored to be able to offer it today and align with SHRM to offer it to my community. I believe wholeheartedly, if you are an HR Department of One, or if you are an HR professional who is aspiring to one day lead others and do more, you need this credential, this special credential. You can add it to your LinkedIn profile, you can add it to your resume, you can add it to your email signature, but it's just going to help to signify your seriousness to perfecting your craft, like we talked about in this video, to mastering your role, so that you can be more strategic, so you can have more value to add to the organization, you have more ideas to bring to the table. I'll leave a link to the program in the description, and if you have any questions, there's a link on there where you can schedule some time with me to talk it through. But if you have any questions for me, please feel free to drop them down below, and I'll talk with you in the very next video. Bye.